And Councillor Shala, the meeting is now live.
Okay, good morning. It's the Committee of Adjustment meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. There's an agenda before us. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? None noted. Can I get someone to adopt the agenda?
I will.
Moved by Dave.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Joe. Does anyone have pecuniary interest to disclose? None noted. We have the minutes before us from the September 15 meeting. I'm sure everybody has reviewed those. So are there any corrections or amendments? None noted. Can I get someone to adopt the minutes as presented?
I'll move that.
Moved by
I'll second
Joe,
it.
seconded by Dave. As public hearing to consider consent application SEV 2021-03. And Tracy, I would ask you, as agreed, to take over.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Shala. So the first item on the agenda is to consider application number SEV 2021-03. These lands are described as part of Lot 20, Concession 8 in the Sabine Ward. The application proposes to create 2 new residential lots from the subject property, which would result in 2 severed lots and 1 retained. The retained lot would have approximately 2.83 hectares and approximately 188 meters of frontage on Highway 127. Severed lot number 1 will have approximately 83 hectares and approximately 100 meters of frontage on Highway 127. And severed lot number 2 will have approximately 2.43 hectares and approximately 100 meters of frontage on Highway 127. I see Brian has brought the map up, and so this is how the proposed lots are to be laid out, or will be laid out approximately. After the survey was done, we'll give the exact lot area and frontage. All the three lots are currently vacant and are heavily wooded with hilly topography. And the applicant has already pre-consulted with the MTO, which they have confirmed that 3 individuals will be permitted. So the requirement to hold this meeting is that there must be 14 days notice as prescribed within the Planning Act. The notice signs were erected on the subject property on October 26th, and the notices were mailed to the property owners within 60 meters on October 29th. I didn't receive anything from any public agencies or from the public or any agencies, and any comments from the planner were outlined in the planning report. So I'd like to go to the committee if all members are familiar with the property or have any questions in regards to the property, to the proposal. Hearing none.
I went out and had a look. There, Tracy, and the road is perfectly straight in that location and almost flat. So I don't see any problem with having the driveways, and neither does the MTO apparently. That would have been my only concern, would have been the location of the lots, and I physically went and seen that everything is fine.
Okay.
Tracy,
yeah.
also, I looked at, I'm familiar with the area, checked it out, talked to the neighbor there and the adjacent property. No issues either. And they were likely would have responded to you directly anyway, but I just have one question, and whether it should be a condition. It talks about the MTO having a mutual drive and agreeing to it, which is great. It seems like this one's gone ahead quite quickly compared to others. Do we make a suggestion as to the width of the entrance, or will we is that left up to the owner of this property?
I believe that would be probably MTO's requirement. So as a condition, it is that the entrance permits are obtained from the MTO and that access meets all the requirements of MTO. Because they have individual driveways, I'm sure MTO has some sort of standard on individual driveways.
Actually, my understanding, it's a mutual shared entrance off Highway 127. But so they likely have the authorization to give the entrance. But it's my understanding from the information provided here, that once the driveway enters private property, it's to provide entrance for all three properties. And maybe other counselors or yourself has a different opinion, or maybe the owner is online and can tell us, but I'm just wondering, because I know at other times we had input as to how wide an entrance was through a property.
So I just want to clarify that confirmation was received that all three entrances will be approved for all three properties. I know Ms. Gorman, you're online. Would you like to speak to that? Because I know you had pre-consulted with MTO and that's who obtained the information.
Thanks so much, Tracy. So I did speak with MTO and they did put a variance in, and it has been approved. So it will not be a mutual access driveway. Each property will have its own entrance.
Is that a change from what we initially received?
Originally, they had approved it with a mutual access driveway, and I contacted MTO because what she had said to me over the telephone was different than what she sent in the email. And so she put in the variance on my behalf. And when it was approved, I forwarded the confirmation of approval to Tracy.
Okay, excellent. I was concerned about that. So I hope you understand. And I'm quite familiar with this property and line of sight, etc. So good. I think it's better if each one has their own individual entrance. Anyway.
I agree. Because it's a lot more paperwork on the legal side to have a mutual access.
Yes.
Good work.
Okay, so I guess Ms. Gorman, while you're on line, do you have any comments in regards to your application or?
As soon as should it be approved, as soon as the notice of decision is received, I have a surveyor already retained. So the survey should be done physically at the end of December, beginning of January. And so I will have the plan for approval by MTO, hopefully by February, March.
Good. That's excellent. Any other further comments from the committee? Hearing none. So I'll go ahead and read the recommendation for council's approval, or for the committee's approval, that the Committee of Adjustment provide provisional approval for the consent application with the following conditions: that the applicant provide the township with the original executed transfer deed, a duplicate, original, and one photocopy, a copy of the reference plan to be deposited in the land registry office that is substantially in compliance with the application, and a schedule describing the severed parcels and naming the grantor and grantee attached to the transfer for approval process. Payment of all payment of all municipal legal and planning fees associated with the process of the application, and that the entrance permits are obtained from the MTO and that access meets all the requirements of the MTO. A standard one that has been put on there, and I see it wasn't added in the report, is that, and I'll just read it here. It's applicable that the applicant meet all the financial requirements of the township, including payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest be paid. So that's a standard one we've been adding in. So that needs to be included in this one as well. So do I have can I get a motion on the decision for SEV-2021-03 as read by myself?
I'll make the
Yeah.
motion to approve the application.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, can we ask for a vote? I'll ask for Sandra's vote for Councillor Sandra's Collins' vote
For.
first.
For.
Okay, Councillor Florent,
For,
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Rodnick,
Oh, be Counselor, oh, he's not in our committee of adjustments, so it'd be just yourself now, Counselor Shala.
well, and I'm in favor also.
Okay, so therefore is accepted with conditions. And we can now proceed to the next agenda item on the I would like to thank actually Kimberly for attending the meeting today. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm excited for this project to proceed.
Thank you, everybody, so much. I really appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure working with you, Tracy. And I look forward to working with you going forward.
Great. Thank
Have a
you.
great day,
You're welcome.
everybody.
You're welcome to stay on if you want to listen to the rest of the meeting, or you can listen to us as well on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we can
Okay,
move
next.
on. Sorry, go ahead, Councilor Shala.
The next item on the agenda is just 1 second here. I just left it here. One. I just, okay, I guess we're ready to deal with the application for SEV 2021-04. Tracy, can you go ahead, please?
Yeah, just give me, I'm just gonna organize. Okay, so this portion of the meeting of the Committee of Adjustment is to consider consent for a severance for lands locally known as 145 and 161 Algonquin Street. The application proposes to legally divide the existing development. This is a unique application as the two existing development has its own civic address, numbers, and it has its own tax, but we're never legally divided on title. So therefore the applicant has to go through the process of consent to legally separate these lands. The severed lands will have approximately 0.3 hectares and 79 meters of frontage on Algonquin Street. And the retained lands will have approximately 0.28 hectares and 55 meters of frontage on Algonquin Street. As you can see in the map, we have it as, looks like one piece, but they are technically divided, but just not on title. So the requirement to hold this meeting is that there must be 14 days notice as prescribed by Section 53 of the Planning Act. The notice signs were provided to the applicant on October 29th and posted on the property. The notices were mailed to property owners within 60 meters of the subject property on October 29th. The comments from the planner are circulated in the planning report. I did receive comment from the Ministry of Transportation that they have no concerns with the severance. However, no new accesses will be granted to either the severed or the retained lot from Highway 60. And all access is to be maintained from Algonquin Street. And if there's any future development, that they must be notified of any proposed development. With the properties having access from Algonquin Street anyway, I don't see any need for any future access from Highway 60 anyway. I believe that Mr. Bolt is online. If you'd like to introduce yourself and if you have any comments on the application.
Hello, South Algonquin. Thank you for letting us be here today. I hope everything goes smoothly as we've been working on this for a very long time.
Great. Does any members of the committee have any comments on this application? No?
Maybe I'd just like to
Tracy,
say
I
it's Councillor
understand
Shala
that-
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I may have interrupted someone.
Go ahead, Richard.
When I look at the history of this and quite familiar with the property also, I just think it'd be a good feeling for all parties if it was resolved and settled and move forward.
I agree.
Councillor Florent, did you have a comment?
It's just that I understand that there will be an agreement for mutual use of the well between the two properties to the east. Is that correct? The
So,
Luckasavage property and the Bolt property?
so after further consultation yesterday, it was determined that that condition wasn't necessary for this application. So therefore, that condition has been removed to this severance.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so any other comments or did you have any more, Denise or Andy or the committee?
We're just hoping to get her done.
Just hoping
Yeah,
to get it done.
I know how anxious you are, that's for sure. Okay, so I would like to go ahead and read the decision. So that the council or the committee of adjustment provide provisional approval for the consent application with the following conditions: that the applicant provide the township with the original executed transfer deed, a duplicate original and one photocopy, a copy of the reference plan to be deposited in the land registry office that is substantially in compliance with the application sketch, and a schedule describing the severed parcel and naming the grantor and grantee attached to the transfer for approval process. Payment of all legal and municipal or planning fees associated with the processing of the application. That an amendment to the zoning bylaw be obtained, recognizing the reduced lot area and frontage associated with the severed and retained parcel. And if applicable, that the applicant meet all the financial requirements of the township, including payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest be paid. I would like to call upon a motion for the decision as read by myself.
I get a
I'll
mover,
propose
please.
that.
Councillor Collins.
I'll second it.
Florent.
Okay,
I'd like to call upon a vote.
Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
Or,
Councillor Harper,
4,
Councillor Bongo,
For.
and I am for also.
Okay, this application is accepted with the conditions.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you both. You've been a pleasure to work with, and I also look forward to working with you on this application as well to get this completed.
Oh, we'll see you lots.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is a consider minor variance application, MV 2021-03.
Okay, I believe, Ms. Stone, you're online as well.
I am, yes,
Could you introduce yourself for the committee?
absolutely. My name is Laura Stone. I am a planner with KMD Community Planning, based out of Peterborough, but my home office is based out of Madoc. And we've been working very closely with the municipality on this application for a rebuild on a boathouse.
Thank you. So this meeting of the Committee of Justice is to consider the application for the minor variance under Section 45 of the Planning Act for part of Lot 5, Concession 5 area, and is locally known as 256 Hay Creek Road along Galleri Lake. The subject property is approximately 93.6 meters of frontage on Galleri Lake and has an area of 1.24 acres. The property is occupied by a single detached dwelling and an existing in-water boathouse. The property owner owns the abutting shore road allowance. During the application review, it was determined that the property was zoned Crown land incorrectly during the implementation of the zoning bylaw. A more appropriate zone for the property would be settlement area shoreline residential. And this can be considered to be corrected during the next update to the zoning bylaw to bring those lands into what they should have been zoned from the very beginning. The existing boathouse has a legal non-conforming status, which results in a change, alteration, replacement of the existing in-water boathouse. It requires the approval for an expansion of legal non-conforming. This can be done under section 45(2) of the Planning Act. So this development would bring the in-water boathouse out of the water to a land boathouse. And it would be 44.63 meters squares. That is approximately 18.5 meters larger than the existing one, but it would be out of the water. Therefore, the development has the appearance of a net environmental gain over the current situation with the removal of the in-water boathouse. So the requirement to hold a meeting is that there has to be 10 days notice under prescribed section. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 60 meters on November 1st, and the sign was posted by the agent on November 1st as well. We didn't receive any comments from any members of the public or any agents. And I was just wondering if any of the counts or any of the committee has visited the site or is familiar with the site.
Tracy, it's Councillor Florent. I was very surprised with this property. I worked at McCrave Mills and drove by this entrance for over 30 years and didn't realize there was a building there. It's tucked away nicely. It's a very nice, well-kept place. Actually, the boathouse looks a lot better than some of the boathouses that we'd like to get rid of in our township. I see no problems with this application at all.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments?
Councillor Shala here. I'm also familiar with this property. Matter of fact, I knew the original owners and used to meet with them there the odd time, visit them. I think comments by Councillor Florent regarding the boathouse being in great condition, but if they improve it, it will certainly enhance the shoreline along where people likely walk from the public beach, which is just adjacent to the area. So good for them. And you know what, when I think of all the work they've had to go through here and the submission for approximately 12 inches of height in a piece of property is a heck of a lot of work. And anyway, it'll likely enhance the area.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments? Hearing none. Ms. Stone, do you have any comments that you'd like to add?
No, not at this time. You've covered it very well.
Thanks. Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and read the decision that the Committee of Adjustment approved the minor variance application and recommend that approve the application on the conditions that the approved development is in compliance with drawing P1-3 submitted with the application and dated June 22nd, 2021, including a maximum height of 4 meters, that the boathouse is not used for human habitation, including sleeping, cooking, or living area, and shall not contain a sauna and or a washroom. Payment of all municipal, legal, and planning fees associated with the processing of the application. I'd like to call upon a motion or to, can I have a mover and a seconder, sorry?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Tracy, if you don't mind, I seen
Sure.
Councillor Bongo put his hand up, and I think it's more appropriate that the motion come from Councillor from Erie Ward. I would defer to
Okay.
Councillor Bongo to make the
Bongo,
motion.
sure, yep.
Gonna call a vote. Councillor
I just-
Collins?
4.
Councillor Florent,
Four.
Councillor Harper,
4.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
and I'm in favor of this also.
In making the decision upon the application, the committee has considered whether or not the application meets the requirements under subsection 45(2) of the Planning Act. Therefore, the Committee of Adjustment granted permission to enlarge, subject to the conditions.
Thank you very much.
It's accepted with conditions. Thank you.
Tracy,
Yes,
I have a comment. That property down there directly behind the boathouse, the topography, there appears to be a hill. It slants going up on the shoreline right there. Are they required to submit a plan of construction or anything like that, like a building permit for Mike to look at before
Oh,
it's
yeah.
constructed?
yeah, so they'll have to get a demolition
Absolutely.
permit for the existing boathouse as well as a building permit for the
Okay.
new boathouse.
All right,
I believe, Mike, did you say something?
Yeah, absolutely, they'll be applying for a permit.
good. Thank you.
Is there
Okay,
any
well,
are there any other issues before us? Tracy, you were going to say something?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody for attending the meeting today, and it's always nice to see this new development be approved, and we welcome it. We just need to make sure it's done right, so it's good. Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? None noted. We not exactly sure when the next meeting will be. It'll depend on demand. And could I get a mover to adjourn?
Move that motion.
Moved by Councillor Florent,
I'll second it.
second by Councillor Bongo. All in favor? Councillor Collins,
4.
Councillor Florent,
Four.
Councillor Harper,
Or
Councillor Bongo,
4.
and I'm in favor. Thank you very much. Thanks,
Thank you.
Tracy. Now, next meeting.
Brian, if you can just let me know when you want me to go ahead with the asset management.
Yeah, Councillor Florent, whenever you're ready, you can convene the meeting.
Are the other councillors present now?
I believe they've been here for the entire previous meeting.
Okay. Can I call the asset management meeting to order at 9:30? Is that close enough? Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? None noted. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Thank you. With the matters before us this morning, does anybody wish to declare a pecuniary interest? Again, none noted. Item number 4 is unfinished business. And the first item is a reassessment of the Hay Lake Boat Launch municipally maintained winter parking area for water access properties and or recreation opportunities. I think that's Dave.
Yep. Yeah, thank you, Councillor Florent. I just thought might be a good time to revisit this subject. We've created a small parking area down at the corner that the tandem plow pushes out. It ends up being a plowed area of about 40 by 40. And the original request came in I believe, September of 2019. And they were looking for a place to park 3 or 4 vehicles occasionally that, have water access places, and wanted to, be able to bring in over the truck and a trailer. So that we have been pushing this out with the tandem. We created it late in 2020, a little later than we would have liked to, but a lot of things happened during 2020. And then this year we added a bit of gravel to it. We've been observing and have had the guys note in their diaries how many people are using it. And up till now, it's been 1 or 2 vehicles occasionally. I guess maybe it was just thought we should just have a look at him for a minute on how many potential people may use this area if it got busier, because expanding it beyond a place for 3 or 4 vehicles to park, it might make better sense to carry on the extra 100 meters and plow the existing parking lot that's associated with the public boat launch just up ahead. It's been a little further complicated in that there's an entrance that you can't see in this picture. It's just off to the right that now goes off to an area that is part of land claim. Maybe just talk about what we are plowing in other areas for water access, seasonal water access properties, and maybe open up for a short discussion and see where we go.
Dave, I would like to comment. I like your idea. I know they've been monitoring the usage. However, COVID has certainly affected traveling based on the health guidelines and direction from the province, etc. Also, as you're well aware, you have property on the water, and I'm sure everyone else in council is well aware of it. A main reason that people maybe don't come is due to slush, and they will call local people to find out what the conditions of the ice may be or the snow on the pending weekend that they want to come. So that all determines whether they can actually access their cottage by a snow machine or not due to slush, or even by snowshoeing. So I think the potential is there. There's a lot of cottages that are water access, and it's likely the safest area to park to access the majority of the cottages, or the cottage part of the lake. And then what it does, it just it's done, it's over with, and the space is there if it's plowed, and there's likely ample room for the plow to get in and get out, even if when it's being used. So I think it's a good suggestion. Thank you.
So let me get this straight, Dave. Is it your plan just to monitor for now, and then if the use gets heavier, then open the parking lot, or to open the parking lot right from the start?
Well, that would be a good point of discussion now. I had a look at parking lots that we do plow right now, and how many water access places would use those parking lots. So we plow a parking lot on South Mackenzie Lake Road that is, maybe 40 by 60. There's 5 water access lots down there. We plow a parking lot at North Mackenzie that is, I guess, largely used by ice fishermen. I don't think there's any water access lots down there. We plow a parking area at Allen Lake, which by far has the largest number of water access properties. Hay Lake would be next to Allen Lake for the amount of water access properties. I suppose it might be good to go out to the association and just find out if there's I wouldn't like to plow the parking lot and have nobody come. But if they decided that they, if we got some feedback from them, it's something that could happen anytime during the winter. All we do is plow the rest of the way in and open the parking lot. And maybe just perhaps council wants to talk about, plowing parking lots for water access people and think about some of the other areas. I know Lyle has water access people and we don't plow them much at all. There's a spot up by the highway. Anyway, I just thought we could revisit it and come up with a plan, because certainly it can be opened up at any point in time during the winter, or we could start plowing from the beginning, or we can carry on status quo with this little area until there's an additional request.
Does any counselor have an opinion?
Sure, if it's all right, I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, to my memory, I remember Dave, we don't have any kind of policy that dictates when we decide to expand our snow removal of parking lots. Is that correct?
So far, it's been, I think, on a request basis. So we have a list of our parking lots that we winter maintain in our level of service bylaw. When we add an area, that bylaw would need to be altered to include the additional area. So at this point in time, this is an area we pushed out with the tandem anyway. What we've done up till now is expand that push out, to make that 40 by 40 area. And it's been sufficient till now. There is possibility that, it will be not insufficient. And the good news would be that should we need to, we already have the other parking lot built. Just a matter of, I guess, getting motion from council and deciding to, expand our winter parking plow route to include the larger parking lot further in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in theory, I am supportive of providing better services for residents, but just as long as the way we go about it is consistent and fair. The only idea that comes to mind is that is this an opportunity for staff to create some kind of policy to help us enforce that fairness? Because like you mentioned, Dave, there's a few other parking lots that are not plowed. Do we know if people would use them if they were plowed? At the moment, we don't. So I don't know if staff are able to help us in any way to come up with some kind of policy that helps us determine when it's most appropriate to add this extra service for snow removal. If my memory is correct, I think I actually voted against this initiative to expand this specific lot here, just based on the premise that we did not have any kind of policy. So that's really just my opinion, and I don't know if there's anybody else in the group that has anything to add.
Mayor Dumas.
Thank you, Chair. Dave, just going back to something you said in regards to the area beyond this area, you said that there was an area to the right that has an access to it. Now, that's not anything that we have done. Is that something that residents have done? And you mentioned something about Crown land in regards to that area?
Yeah, this all of Bennett Road is a right of way on Crown land. So it's under municipal jurisdiction for a 66-foot theoretical area, 33 feet each side of the traveled portion of the road. The Hay Lake boat launch is operated under a land use permit, which is also Crown land. So expanding this push out area is in accordance with the spirit of those acts between the Municipal Act and the Lands Act. There is an existing driveway off to the right that goes to an old abandoned mill site that in September of 2020 became part of a land claim area, and there's also another land claim area, which would be just on the opposite side of the road on the corner. I don't know how that, that will impact things in the future. But there's a few issues in this area. But all of this is on, Crown land under municipal jurisdiction.
But as you indicated, that part of that area has been identified as land claim lands. And if that is the case, we have absolutely no jurisdiction or right to do anything on that land at this point in time.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Shala here. I just think that I'm listening to the conversation, Dave, and I'm just thinking ahead a bit. If we talk about demand, if we get the demand, if the portion that's allocated here, and basically we shouldn't even be plowing maybe some of what we are plowing, or a small section of it. But anyway, if we were to open up the parking lot, it's already ready to go. If we wait until, say, a New Year's weekend or a Christmas weekend, good chance a New Year's weekend, or maybe even March break or something of that nature, when vehicles are planning on, or people are planning on coming to their cottage, and they arrive and there is no room, then we're in a bind. So if it's prepared ahead of time, it's ready to go. It's part of our facility. We're providing a service to people that really don't demand a lot. And once they're at the cottage, that's it. That's what they come here for. So anyway, it would provide access for them and ensure parking if they did, regardless of how many came. And we don't know who else may come. So anyway, other than residents. So anyway, my suggestion is, as you presented it, if it was opened up now, it's ready to go, and you don't have to worry about what may or may not happen.
I agree with Councillor Shala. It's much easier to keep a parking lot open than to open one with 2 feet of snow on it come 1st of February or something like that. And regarding policy, the trouble with having a hard and fast policy is sometimes we would end up plowing parking lots that aren't needed or not plowing parking lots that are needed. I would much rather see us work on an as needed basis. And I think if we plow that parking lot this year and nobody parks in it, it's kind of a lesson that we don't need it.
That could certainly be monitored, Councillor Florent. We could reflect that in our operations logs.
Would you agree, Dave, that it's much easier to keep it open than to open it midwinter?
Well, absolutely. I wonder if it would be helpful to go back to the air photo to show the existing parking area. It's the bottom of your screen there. So you can see the intersection up at Bennett Road. That's where the little push out exists on the top of the screen. And then it's 100 meters to go into that large parking lot that exists down by the water. It's uphill of the boat launch. So our truck wouldn't have to go down the steep hill to the boat ramp. And it's quite large. I certainly put 20 or 30 vehicles in there.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to see us going down to that boat launch. We'd never get out of there.
No, and it would have to be plowed with the small truck because the parking lot is a little off angle. We wouldn't want to go in there with the tandem.
Okay, is the committee in agreement that we go ahead and plow the parking lot for this winter then? Anybody opposed to it?
Can I ask what the fiscal impact is behind this expansion?
We had looked at it before, so I don't have those numbers fresh in my mind, but basically it would involve the small truck, which would be the new 1-ton plow, making a trip out here to plow that. So you plow the route, it would probably add, 20 minutes to that truck's time. That truck does come out this way to plow other parking lots at Mackenzie Lake, and sometimes, opens intersections during storms, but we plow parking areas to secondary, secondary plow routes. So it would add some time to probably about 20 minutes to the plow truck. Depending on calls for service, could be up to, 20 or 30 times a winter. Depends on what kind of snow we get, and then certainly would need to be sanded as well. So I could probably come back with some numbers need be, but everything has a cost.
Mayor Dumas, you had a comment?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Dave, I must admit, I haven't looked at our level of service bylaw recently. So am I correct in taking from your comments that we do have the current parking areas such as this one on our level of service, so that we as council know which areas we are actually providing that service to?
Correct. And I believe we would need a resolution to add this to our winter plow parking route. And it could be, I suppose, revisited in a year's time after we took, council would need to vote on it, I think, and maybe we could bring back some observations after a season.
And just a subsequent, if I could, Chair, is this something, I think this is something, that we are doing as indicated without policy. So I think it would be very good as an indicator from our level of service bylaw to how much time and financial resources are being put into these areas of parking. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there, but it certainly would be good to know. And, we are always cognizant of the fact that we are providing service to our residents throughout the whole township. And I think the fact that a lot of these parking areas the majority of them are on areas where lake properties do exist. And we often hear that they pay taxes and don't get many services back. So I think it would be really expedient if we could provide information and concrete numbers that we are providing a service there, and in recognition of requests from residents that are lake access only. So just a thought, but put it out there for that consideration.
Okay, could I ask staff to prepare an amendment to our level of service bylaw for our next council meeting, and we can vote on that. And if we need any further discussion, we can do that at that time. Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, Joe,
Yes. Go ahead, Councilor.
I have one question for Dave. This increased snow plowing only is in regards to that northerly parking lot on top of the hill, and we will not be going down the hill to the lake at any time. Is that correct?
No, it would not be going down the hill at any point in time.
Good.
Okay, then if we can move on to the next item. It's a bylaw to establish and regulate the fire department, and it's for review. And I would turn it over to Chief Kruger if he's here. Is Chief Kruger in attendance?
It doesn't appear that Chief Kruger has made it yet. So maybe I'll just quickly speak to this. I think Don just wanted to get this on the agenda. It kind of fell off the agenda at one point to find out if these bylaws were ready to be prepared to bring forward to a regular council meeting for approval at this time, or whether there was anything additional. And certainly if we have any additional changes we wish to make, I'd suggest, since Don's not here, that potentially we defer that to a meeting where he would be here to answer questions.
Is council in agreement with that? Okay, we will move on then to The next item, it's a bylaw to authorize tiered response, and I think that has to do with Chief Kruger as well.
That is correct.
So will we defer that one as well then?
I would suggest that if council, in order to allow council to question the chief directly on the writing of these bylaws, it would be prudent.
Could we put
Okay.
a call into Chief Kruger and see? He may have just slipped his memory about this meeting.
No, he made a comment that he wasn't sure if he was going to make it to the office. He was going to be en route this morning, so he didn't know if he would make it to the office in time to get on the meeting.
Oh, okay.
I think
I
I may have
understand
heard him come in. I'll check.
Go ahead, Jane, you had a comment?
I was just going to say, I think if we could get him to the table, it's important. I think the agreement between Nipissing District Paramedic Service and our fire department are kind of time sensitive. I have a DSAP, a District of Nipissing Social Services Advisory Board meeting tomorrow, and I think this is part of a rollout that may be pending for the District of Nipissing. So in regards specifically to the agreement, as I say, between Nipissing District Paramedic Services and the fire department. So if we could get the chief to the table, that would be good. And if not, well, then we'll deal with it.
Sorry, Mayor Dumas. Don has walked in the office. He's just connecting now.
Oh, great.
Okay, we will wait for him.
Councillor Florent, did you want to move ahead with the next items on the agenda, and we can come back to it once Dawn does join us?
We certainly can. So we'll move on to new business, and maybe some of the staff can just let me know whenever Dawn is, and we'll just come back. The first item under new business is the Works Department staff report.
Thank you, Councillor Florent. I'll just run through it quickly until I guess Dawn gets on, or maybe I can have time to finish.
Sure.
Just wanted to let everyone know that all the winter equipment has been readied for winter, sprayed, wings are on, pans are out, and we're ready to take care of winter whenever it shows up. We have not switched over to winter schedule just as yet. We're watching the 14-day forecast, and it allows us to stay with more guys together Monday to Friday in the meantime, but we are considering that in probably the next week or two, seeing how things roll out here weather-wise. Just wanted to give you an update on some brushing. We made some extra efforts to increase, to get some brushing done this year, and it's made quite a difference on the roads we got to with our brusher head on our excavator. All of McGuey Road has been done end to end, which very helpful for sightline and reducing damage to our truck mirrors. Actually, in all of the cases, Major Lake and Allen Lake, we did with the tractor with a subcontractor was able to get out, 15 feet and keep the alders back. It was kind of alarming to see how much growth had come in on Allen Lake Road just since we cleared it in 2018. It's quite a lot of growth this year. Right now, we're just finishing up on Gaffney Road, and we may even have more than 3 kilometers done by the end of today. I just wanted to let everyone know that beaver control, you're going to see a shift in labor costs from transportation to environmental services, and the beavers with the high water this year and this extended warm weather, basically more than a 2-to-1 ratio from 2020. We're actually still out at it. Things haven't froze up. Hopefully, this colder weather is going to slow them down. But anyway,
when would we be able to get a figure, like a dollar figure on this?
Well, you'll see it in the in the budget. And basically, if we have to work more in one department, we're not working in another. So it has no overall township impact on cost. It's just we're taking, our laborers out doing beaver control instead of something else. So that's, we don't take on additional staff or an additional cost. It just goes from one department to another. So we've been watching the 5-year average, and this is 2021 has been the highest average that we've seen, certainly since I've been keeping track in 7 years.
When you consider beaver likely at the lowest they have been in 50 years, if they were at the population was like it was in the 80s and 90s, it would just scare me to think that we would, of what we could experience cost-wise. And basically the only place there's beaver is along a roadway or a public place where the public move around a lot, and where it's a bit safer for a beaver to make a quick dam at a culvert, because there's certainly no very, very scarce beaver in away from the roadways, back in the bush on it's all marsh, all dried up marsh. The beaver wolves have controlled them, and the bears, I guess, or whatever else has happened. Maybe there's the disease went through, but I would say the beaver population is likely no more than 10% of what it used to be in the 80s and 90s.
So they've decided they like the road.
Well, that's the quick place you can dam up a culvert in the night, and you got security in an old bank house where if you're trying to build a dam in the bush, not long and the beaver hears you, or the wolf hears you, and he's around there, and that's the end of him.
Dave?
Yep.
Does the municipality still reimburse trappers $50 for the removal of nuisance beaver?
Absolutely.
Because and Richie Councillor Shalla can correct me, but beaver are worth next to nothing, I understand. And to get somebody to take a beaver out, even during prime pelt season, they're not making any money for them. They're likely better off to take the $50 from the municipality and take the beaver at any time, so it really doesn't matter. I was informed by one of the trappers in the area, and Councillor Shall is correct when he says the only beaver around are beside the roads. The rest of the country has very, very few beaver in it.
Mayor Dumas?
Just a comment, anybody that travels 127 past Robinson, there's been one beaver house there that's like a high-rise apartment. And now there's a bank beaver right by the damming, where they're damming up the culvert. So it's very visual in that area that they certainly are, they're smart. They go where they can get the biggest bang for their dams when they put them in. So, but that bank beaver on Robinson at the where the culvert goes out, it's a huge house.
I noticed, if I may make another comment, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Richard.
I noticed, Dave, a few times where staff were traveling after hours to remove beaver and basically shoot them. You know what? You may be successful and you may not, but you might make a lot of trips before you are successful, and you may never be. The trap works 24/7.
Yeah, well, certain extreme cases do exist. One other effort we've been trying to keep on top of is keeping the dams in some of the higher grounds where our roads are in jeopardy drained down. And certainly on McCrae-Hay Lake Road, we had a couple of incidents that we're trying to make sure to do not reoccur. Also over in the Burnt Depot area, there's a couple of dams upstream that we've been keeping down, and that's helped us, I think, having any of these larger blowouts where we lose the entire road again. So those efforts have also been, we've been on top of those quite a bit this year.
I should comment, maybe councillors going down 127. They had a dam broke or something broke just south of between the gravel pit at on Highway 127 where the crusher was working this summer and Mackenzie Lake Road. And it looks like the water come down that private property driveway and then went down along the roadway to almost the property where we just talked about here that wants to be severed. So we're very fortunate that Highway 127 didn't go out. And I would say that broke on Sunday night because they were working there Monday morning, and it's certainly done a lot of damage to that private property entrance in there, and for I don't know how far, as far as you can see anyway from the road. So things happen, and I don't know what the reason was or anything, but it's certainly quite a washout.
Mayor Dumas?
I guess we're all thinking of flooding, and Dave, on Highway 127, that's not township responsibility to break out those dams, but are we doing that? And a second point to council is, should we get it out there that township is willing to pay the $50 a beaver to get these beavers, out of the areas where we're at risk to having quite a large impact if a flood goes out on our roads?
For just to answer your first question, no, we do not do any maintenance on Highway 127 or the systems that affect it. They are, some of these systems are tied together, and floods that may come from the Highway 127 area can come in and affect ours. In certain cases, like the McCoy Lake gravel pit, if they don't keep those culverts clear, we do have concern downstream at McCrae Lake Road, but they seem to be on top of it. We have contacted trappers, and as Councillor Foran mentioned, there doesn't seem to be a lot of interest, and occasionally we have areas where entire roads would wash out if we have a problem. We get water over a road, and North Mackenzie, all those residents are cut off. In those kind of situations, it would be very helpful to have trappers remove the beavers, and any way we could communicate with them would be great. Very helpful.
Dave, if I take Councillor Shala's comments and the mayor's comments, it might be beneficial for us to have a trapper employed at $50 per beaver rather than have staff going out even on regular time to look after it. As Richard said, they may or may not be successful. 3 hours of sitting or a couple hours, 2 hours, I guess, of sitting would equal the $50. Maybe we should put feelers out again to local trappers. And I'm not sure how we would handle a situation where one trapper could be on another trapper's zone. But I think as long as they stayed within the boundaries of the road allowance, we would probably be okay. I'm just guessing that. I don't know.
That is my understanding from the information we've got from the MNRF, is that where these beavers imminently pose danger to property, which in our case are public safety, which would be losing a road where there's residents and ambulances need to get to, that a trapper could work from the road allowance for the municipality.
Well, I'm going to suggest that we maybe put some feelers out again to do that, to go that route of beaver control.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, Dave, you could move on then to recreation and cultural services.
Sure. Just wanted to let everyone know that there may be an opportunity exist for the township to relook at the lighting for the Gallery Lake Dam now that this project is finished. the idea would be that we move to some kind of LED accent lighting that would be in each of the logways. It could, it would light the logway and, in the active water downstream, and likely be, quite a nice enhancement to the feature, and would eliminate the spillover that we're getting now, because we're kind of lighting it in an older way where we're trying to use a stadium light and, hit the dam, but it's spilling over the top. We've had comments from property owners on the other side and around about the intensity of the light. So I had a talk with the engineer that's been working on the dam, and he did say that another municipality has been granted permission to do a similar project. It doesn't seem that the costs would be prohibitive, and certainly there would be a huge gain in costs to operate the LED lights over the high pressure sodiums that are there right now. And, likely, these lights could be themed or colored, depending on season. That kind of technology exists these days, pretty readily available. And what I have been told is that a request would need to come from council to it's now the NDMNRF operator of the dam, and then they would likely consider granting the municipality permission. I was hoping to bring some budgetary costs to you today. I just haven't got all my information back yet, but I could certainly have it available for an upcoming meeting.
Perfect.
Dave, would that also include the newly constructed spillway?
It could, yes.
Good.
Yeah, that would be
That would
great.
show up the rocks nicely.
I see a bunch of heads nodding, so I think, Dave, you have approval to go ahead and at least get the costing for that and then come to council for approval.
Okay, I will go ahead with that. Thank you. Just moving on to protective services, if we're okay. We've had a little snag. It's not uncommon these days with the trades that we're looking at doing the automatic refill system. They have been overwhelmed with work and are having trouble with staffing. So I've reached out to a different trades person that we've used before, and they are saying they are still thinking they can get it done in this budget year to get that put in so the reservoir fills as soon as the fire department starts to take water. And I will keep you posted on the progress of that, but I am hopeful it will still happen this year. We had, that's okay if council has any, want to talk about that, or I can move on, or?
Go ahead, Dave, just.
Okay. Yeah, so we, our new 1-ton F550 is in service, and we went to reassess the existing sand spreader that we had on the 2012, and the clutch has been seizing on us seasonally, regardless of how much we oil it and loosen it up in the fall. The engine has also been having trouble starting, and there's been some stress fatigue in the metal of the hopper itself. So we just determined that there was that, and the wiring harness probably not a great idea to install it on the new truck. It's been costing us some service disruption time throughout the season where the engine won't start, or the chain has been having some trouble too on the main chain. So there has been some supply issues. So we reached out and looked for a new unit, and we were able to get one. It's in accordance with the new purchasing bylaw, and we received 5 bids actually. And I thought we got a pretty good price. The new unit is more than double capacity of the old unit. So it would, we will likely not have to return to the yard to refill that hopper on an operational day for that truck now. And it has a much more efficient way for loading the sand bins that we load in Madawaska and Whitney. And the intention is to surplus the existing unit. And if council recalls, we received an excellent price for the former 1-ton truck on auction, and certainly more than covers. There wouldn't be any budgetary or reserve fund impacts, but we did have to react timely to this. There's quite a shortage of this kind of thing. If anyone has any comments, or I'll move on.
Good news.
Just keep moving on until we interrupt you.
Okay. Sorry. Just drainage and road improvements. We've been working on trying to get around to the spots that we know to be the worst cases, where we're having culverts freeze or block up, and where we've got widenings in places like Macaulay Lake Road, where we lost the truck in 2018, and some areas in Sabine that during these thunderstorms really just showed the amount of weakness we had for drainage in some areas that took all our gravel away. I just prepared some quick slides that Brian is going to run through here to show you the condition of the culverts we're taking out and the urgency. I think it illustrates it. We did 19 this year, and this is what we're finding in every case, that there's no bottom. The sides are rotted right out. In some cases, they're collapsing on us. And then we have to run right to it. But it's a very important program, and we've certainly making gains every year. And I just think we need to keep on, getting these culverts changed and replaced to the HDPEs, because they've got a 60-year life, and some of these culverts we're taking out, I am told, are only 15 or 16 years old and no bottom left at all. So just wanted to give you an update on that and kind of let you see what's coming out of the ground. Just give you an
Dave,
update.
can I ask, are you replacing them with plastic, or are you putting metal back in?
We have a bylaw that we only replace culverts in South Algonquin with plastic because of the rot that happens. It's been around for quite a while, but yeah, they're all double wall, heavy duty polyethylene.
Thank you.
And wanted to give you an update on the Erie trestle. The contractor, we got a little late start there. They had some troubles getting the material delivered, which is commonplace these days. They did receive it kind of near the end of October, and we're still thinking of taking on the project this year. They did cite that they had some labor issues going on, which is also kind of commonplace these days, and have asked that the project be postponed to April 2022 as the start date. There is no grant related issues at all. We have till 2024 to complete this, and they anticipate this taking about a month, and starting the week of April 18th, weather dependent. Just if council has any comments or wants to ask any questions about that.
I just have two questions.
Go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Thanks. Question one, it'll be safe to keep the trestle open throughout this winter coming up. And question number two, do we have any guarantees that they will be able to begin the work in April 2022, or is there any possibility of any further delays due to supplies and or labor?
Yeah, very good questions. We are going to go down and, make safe that trestle railings for the wintertime, just with some temporary measures. I would have liked to have it done this year. They have secured all of the material and sent me pictures of how and where it is stored. So it is covered, it is in their yard in a safe place, and they are anxious to get this done as soon as possible in the springtime. So I'm quite confident that this project will be done long before our tour season begins. They're a good, reputable company.
Great. Nope, that sounds very good.
Hay Creek Road. I just spoke with the engineer this morning, and they anticipate having a draft plan ready for us in the coming weeks. It's been a little complicated in that I've asked them to address the problems at the LCBO and the post office corner. So they're not overly complicated, but they have some MTO requirements that are going to need to be met there. And hopefully I will have a drawing for you to look at in the coming weeks. Just wonder if we could get up the roads need study. We did receive a draft summary of our roads need study, and I'd like to give you an update at where that's at. They were able to get in and assess all of the hard surface roads, and you will see there's traffic counters out right now. So the traffic counts, they have done some, and they are still carrying on. I think they will be finished by the end of this week. So those traffic counts are going to come back into this study, and right now they've just made assumptions for this draft. So if you go through our road conditions, they've assessed them in surface type, surface width, structural adequacy, and drainage. So for a summary, they're just at this point listing whether they're adequate or not. And if you see a number in brackets, that is the time frame which it needs to be addressed. So if you see 1 to 5, they are saying it needs to be addressed in 1 to 5 years or 6 to 10 years. And then you will come down and see McCrae-Hay Lake Road. If you just back up one there, and it is actually been bumped up to now. And that is because of the condition of that road. Certainly a 600-meter section, which is in terrible shape. So if we carry on down the roads need study, they've given us some budget numbers. He has let me know that these budget numbers are based on standard procedures where an engineer would be engaged, and an engineer would manage the entire project, much like we did Allen Lake. These numbers can also, if you just kind of scroll over to the right there, you'll see the numbers, the actual dollar figures. It's possible to get it on the screen. That he can also look at our history, how we've done some of our roads, and he could adjust these budgets based on our historical construction costs here. So these are these numbers are going to be brought forward to create 5 and 10-year capital replacement plans as we carry on with our strategic asset management planning and meet our targets under the Jobs and Prosperities Act that are coming up shortly. So this is going to be a key tool to identify our core assets and give us a business plan for capital replacement, that council can look at our reserve fund levels and consider borrowing to meet these targets, or certainly applying for grants to address some of the more urgent needs. And just at a glance, I mean, it really highlights the costs and the urgency with a road such as McCrae Lake Road and its condition. Just to add a little more to this, the engineers have requested that they do our gravel roads during the frost out condition during half load time. He's given me a description as to why. They want to see the fines leaving. It is the absolute best time to assess these roads and get a true picture of their condition. Difficult to assess a gravel road when it's dry and at this time of year or in the fall, but they would like to do that as soon as half loads begin. And we would get the balance of this report and completed by late spring, 2022.
Very good.
If I may comment, it's Councillor Shallow. Good news, I just see where there's going to be an announcement from Northern Development Mines, etc. on maybe there's grants in that for road work. I'm not sure whether it'll be covered or not. But anyway, Dave, I'm just wondering if you mentioned the travel count, and can you tell us when the counters went up?
Yeah, I was told that they did some counts a couple of weeks ago, and they needed to do some recounts in a couple of other areas. I just, I was actually calling and saying, you need to put these on the road before we plow them off. And I do see that counters were up as of yesterday on Hay Creek Road. I see them on Galeri. I assume they're elsewhere. So once we're done our meeting, I'm going to just get an update on exactly where these counts are happening. But they're a 1 week period, and then they apply formulas to give us our annual averages.
Is there a special formula for cottage country? Because some of these other roads, there'd be quite a change between November and say May until October.
I asked the very same question, and they assured me that they do have formulas that are standard, and this time of year is their ideal time to count up here.
Okay.
And they apply formulas that allow for summer activity based on population and all of that.
Thank you.
It's the method seems a little suspect to me. It's when you rely on a computer to make your projections for you. Well, all you got to do is look at some of the other projected predictions, and they're out to lunch. Can't beat feet on the ground.
Yes, I will pass those comments along to them, and we talked to 3 engineers that all supplied bids for this roads need study, and they all cited these formulas that transpose these traffic counts to annual numbers. So
It's the way of the world to rely on a computer to tell you what you need or not, but I still don't agree with it.
I hear you.
And you
Joe.
can tell them that it came from Councillor Florent, not from the council.
I have voiced the same concerns. I am far more a hands-on person myself.
All you have to do is look at the water levels in Glary Lake from a computer standpoint.
Or Bark Lake all summer.
That's right.
Well,
Okay, Dave, if you can move on.
Yep, certainly. The branding plan signs. I've finally received the 4 required permits for the highway signs. I put them in the hands of our contractor immediately, and I'm still hopeful that they will be installed, prior to the ground be completely frozen. He did say that he was hopeful he would have them in shortly.
Dave, can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
I hope I didn't cut you off, but I mentioned previously about that one down at South End at Mackenzie Lake Turn that's down in a hole.
Yep.
And now if it moved either way out of that dip, it would be quite noticeable, but now it's almost hidden. And I requested that possibly you could get an extension or put higher the posts up higher. Were you able to decide, or what's the plan there?
Yeah, that is not part of this branding plan project. Sorry, that was part of the previous project. These signs only identify the villages of Madawaska and Whitney. Altering that sign, I don't think is a huge issue. They've at the time came out and surveyed that, and that's what they told us it had to be. But since then, in order to get these permits, I've become aware of something called the Bush Country Corridor Management Policy for these municipal decorative signs, and they allow it to be 3 meters above the edge of pavement. And I recall quite well that when we had the officer out installing that sign, they insisted it was 3 meters above the ground. But I think it could be extended to be 3 meters above the edge of pavement, it would make it far more visible than it is.
It certainly would. Thank you.
Okay, just,
Dave,
yep.
Dave, if I can interrupt, a couple of, maybe more than a couple, 3 or 4 years ago, I requested that a sign be applied for the community of Cross Lake as well. And I've never heard another thing about that. Has there been any applications went to MTO, because that is an MTO highway?
Well, the branding plan was created, I guess, by committee. I wasn't part of it, but the installation became under my control, I guess, or management. And no sign was, part of that was handed my way. But I mean, if council decides that they wish to have a sign there, I'm pretty familiar with the permit process now. And if we wanted it by next year or two, we should probably start it now. This has been going on since May just to get these.
My memory is a little foggy on it now. I'm not sure if we actually had a motion to council. I don't think so. It was just, I had a request from a taxpayer that lived within the community of Cross Lake. And I remember bringing it up. I think it was probably at an asset management meeting. I don't think it ever got to a council meeting.
Okay.
I thought initially when we talked about these, Councillor Florent, when these signs coming in on provincial highways, that area was one of them.
Honestly, I don't remember.
I don't recall that discussion, no. Anyway.
Okay to move on?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and we also did receive permission to install the dry hydrants in the 3 proposed locations. Just recently, we've sent the agreement letter back. So I am going to try and still get that done this season. I've reached out. I'm actually at the point now where I'm trying to find pipe. Apparently there's quite a shortage of pipe, but none of these have a time-sensitive restriction that would stop us from doing them this fall. Their restriction is between March 15th and July 15th. So if we can't get them finished, before the end of this season, then they would be, I guess, either prior to March 15th, but not likely. Just prohibitive with frozen ground. So it would be after July 15th sometime. But I'll keep you posted on how that goes. And miraculously, I have been informed that our water tanker is going to be available by the end of this month. I've kind of not mentioned this much because it's been embarrassing. We've been trying to buy this water tanker since spring of 2020. They've cited shortages to assemble them down at the plant in Guelph, and apparently it is all together, and we will have it before the year is out. He asked me if we just like a picture and hold on till springtime, and I said no. We want it. And yeah, the roofing projects at Lester Smith and Whitney Library went well. Quite impressed with the new company out of Bay Roofing out of North Bay, a very professional outfit, and certainly the Whitney Library went pretty well too. I have one minor thing to add at the end of my report, which is new news, and that is I was speaking with Parks, and we were just talking about boat launches in general, and they let me know that they are intending on abandoning Allen Lake as an Algonquin Park access point entirely, and that they're going to be looking at an access point that would be located at the end of North Allen Lake Road. I guess there's some existing parking lot up there, and they would be expanding that a little bit. So that's just new news at this point, and I don't have any more than that.
in reality, that's always been like that anyway. It's just that they're finally recognizing it. Is that the end of your staff report, Dave?
That is, yep.
Joe,
Yes.
I have a question for Dave. A while back, a little project down at the beach area was brought up in regards to some brushing that could be done down there. Did you happen to have a look at that by any chance?
Yeah, I spoke to a resident that had some interest in clearing that area, and I don't know how council feels. I mean, the area off to the right, certainly the branches have grown in and the trees could be limbed. I don't think any trees need to be removed, but it would expand, you know, the area where people can sit and spread out, you know, by taking some of those lower branches off those pines. I don't know how council feels about it. I think it would just be part of park maintenance come springtime.
What about the removal of that hazel brush and tag alders?
Well, the tag alders are mostly sticking out on the shore. I don't know if you want to remove them entirely. They're providing some shoreline erosion protection, but they could be cut down. They grow constantly.
Mayor Dumas?
I would really like this to come to council for discussion. I have reservations in regard to this request, and you know, all along the waterfront that fronts the houses that are on that road that comes from the beach around to the municipal office, there used to be a beautiful, all along the front there, we had milkweed planted, not planted, that grew there naturally, and people have all now are cutting the grass themselves, and we no longer have that natural environment for monarch butterflies along that whole lakeshore. And I personally, I want this to come to council and be a decision of council, because I don't support just decimating shoreline, you know, riparian shoreline to increase a view for 3 months of the year. So this, I think, is an environmental issue, and I certainly do not want, I would request that Works Department do not go ahead with any work in this area prior to bringing it to council.
And if I can add something, I was approached by a resident as well, and it was put to me more as a access improvement for handicapped or aged people. It looks like there was an access point there at one time. It's now blocked with some big stones. And the request was to remove them and clean it up, and possibly even have a paved walkway or something in that area, because it really is impossible for somebody that's wheelchair bound to access that beach under the current conditions.
And
So
I'm certainly,
I agree, it should be brought to council for more discussion.
yeah. And if I may, Councillor Florent, the rocks went there because people were driving their vehicles right up into the beach. But you're right, it's a beautiful area, and I think thought and planning needs to be put into it, as you say, for access to the beach for individuals that require special access. And yeah, I think this has to be a plan with direction. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, I agree with blocking it so that you can't access it by vehicles, but that could be done with the same system that we use at the Tom and McMurray Park and still allow wheelchair access. Councillor Bongo, I think you were wanting to comment?
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. Yes, absolutely. I have also been approached by residents in the past regarding improving accessibility at Galleri Lake Beach. So if that could be put on the agenda for future, that would be great. And then just the second point, I had asked CAO Brian Martin about this resident approaching us and clearing up some brush there. And Brian's comment was just for us to make sure that none of that land is involved with the land claim. But I'm sure that that can be spoken about and saved for a later asset management meeting.
Okay, if that's concludes the staff report, I would like to go in reverse and go back up to the second bullet point under unfinished business. If Chief Kruger is in attendance now, I'll hand it over to you, Chief.
Thank you, Councillor Florent. I don't really have anything to add. this was just put on. I know this is not the appropriate place for it, but we just wanted this put back on so we could get it back to council's attention so that it could possibly be voted on at the next council meeting. This, as we discussed several months ago, this was just an update to our establishing and regulating law for the fire department, as well as tiered medical agreement bylaw, which was kind of part and parcel to it. So I'm just here for if there's any questions by members of council, if they have any questions.
Does anybody wish to ask Mayor Dumas?
Not a question, but I know we had a very fulsome, comprehensive discussion in regard to these at the EMS committee meeting. And I went back through what is in our package this morning and looked at notes. And to me, it reflects all the feedback that council gave at the time. So just my comment, certainly I feel it's appropriate. It's reflective of what we discussed and that it should go forward to our meeting in December.
So I could ask all of council to make sure they review both of those packages, the one for the establishment of the fire department and the one for authorizing a tiered response, and ask staff to put it on the agenda for the December 1st meeting.
I wonder, Councillor Florent, could I ask a question about the tiered medical agreement?
Go ahead.
It was quite exciting for us at the time of when we got paramedics in the community to relieve the firemen from a lot of these duties that they were taking charge of. And when I read through this, I'm just wondering, maybe a fire chief can explain it better, but it certainly sounded to me like the fire department was going to be called out more now, almost like they were before. And I'm just wondering, is that correct or incorrect? Or is it just for special occasions? I would like you to explain it. And
Certainly, Councillor. So it may increase the call volume for the fire department, but not a whole lot. The purpose of the agreement is to actually define under what circumstances a fire department would be called out. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Councillor, but currently in our current E&R bylaw, it just says we will assist the paramedics as requested, which is not specific at all. So the purpose of this is to just specify when the fire department would be called out to assist the paramedics. And it's just for purposes such as VSA type calls where a person is unconscious or vital signs absent, and the fire department or firefighters can get there quicker and start CPR if necessary. And then other scenarios would be for lift assist. So for example, if the paramedics had a patient that they could not lift with just 2 paramedics, they would call for the fire department to assist them and lift a patient and get them into the ambulance. So the short answer is yes, it could increase the number of calls that the fire department receives, but in reality, it would just be clarifying what we will and won't do with respect to medical calls.
well, I just hear you, if I heard you correctly, say that if they can get there quicker for if somebody's unconscious. Well, the paramedics are on call during the day and they're on call at night and ready to go. And they all live within the stone's throw of the hall. I don't know how we think that our fire department is going to be able to get there ahead of them. And I'm just thinking that it just left it open a lot to whether they go or they don't go, and should they go. And I'll maybe re-look at all of this before our next meeting when we're going to discuss it. But I have some concerns that putting an onus back on the fire department there. I might be wrong. It may be a certain, I can see it when it's vehicle accidents, that type of thing. But for the regular responses within our township, I don't know. I think that should be left to the paramedic service.
Councillor Dumas?
Perhaps Chief Kruger would have answered this, but Councillor Shala, when you think of Madawaska, and if there's a person there whose vital signs absent, the fire department could be there much quicker than the ambulance from Whitney going there. And this will be the exception, not the rule. And if the ambulance is out of area, then it's the fire department that's covering. So it's not meant to be for every call that comes in, but when there's those situations.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. What Mayor Dumas said is absolutely correct there. It doesn't mean that they're just going to automatically tone out the fire department for a medical call. They're only going to tone out the fire department for a medical call if the paramedics can't get there right away. So for just a regular type call, if the paramedics are at the station and they're able to respond quickly, then the fire department would not be called. If, as Mayor Dumas illustrated, the paramedics are on another call and can't respond right away, or if it's in a situation where they are quite a distance away and the fire department can get there faster, then the fire department would be called. It doesn't mean that the fire department's going to be called for every medical call that occurs in the township, only if they can assist the paramedics, and in a lot of cases, assisting the paramedics may mean getting there faster. And as I'm sure everyone's aware, when it comes to a scenario where CPR may be needed, if the firefighters can get there faster and get CPR started right away, that increases the chances of survival.
If I can add one more thing, it also adds policy and protocol in the case of a mass casualty event where the ambulance service would be overwhelmed.
Exactly, yes.
Anything else to add, Chief?
I don't think so, Councillor. Just again, if there are any further questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And that I just got about cost recovery, and we do address that through insurance companies and the MTO.
Chair, I have a comment and a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chief Kruger. This document is exactly why we hired you for this role, and I think it's fantastic. In my own limited EMS training that I've had in my 3 years in this position, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that your department has to spell out what it does and what it does not do, and the importance of having agreements as the one that you've drafted. So I think everything looks absolutely fantastic. My two questions is related on page number 5. The department reserves the right to recover costs incurred to extinguish any fire purposely set without a permit for violations of a permit set out in Schedule A. So essentially what that spills out is that the importance for residents to get their burn permits for large scale burns, as if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, super. And then on page 6, extraordinary expenses, how often does it happen that a fire department would have to hire a contractor to assist? I mean, is this generally as a result of extreme negligence?
Not necessarily, no. Typically, and of course, this is not the only reason, but typically, extra expenses would be something like if we had a structure fire where the building was a complete total loss, and we had to call in a backhoe or something like that to tear it down in order to continue extinguishment exercises, then that would be an extra cost, and then we would bill for that. obviously if the fire is out and then the homeowner's getting it torn down, that's their responsibility. But if we need to have the building torn down in order to actually finish putting the fire out, then we would be hiring a contractor and somebody with a high hole or a backhoe to come do that. And that would be a cost that we would attempt to recover.
Okay,
And
thank you.
that's the easiest example.
Super. No, that's great.
Any other questions? I have none noted, so I thank you, Chief Kruger, for making the meeting and being able to shed some light on some of the questions. So we'll go back to new business again, and we've already covered the lighting upgrades for Gallery Lake Dam in the staff report. So I guess the next item is the boathouses on municipal road allowance. And I'm not sure which staff wants to address that.
I believe Tracy's going to speak to this.
Okay, thank you. So in their report, it states that there is 6 boathouses located on Township Road Allowance on Allen River. 3 are currently leased by property owners with water access, and 1 is the green one that you see in the picture. There is an LUP through the NDMNRF, and it's for a wet boathouse. As you can see in the pictures, these boathouses are not in the best of shape. I'm going to let Mike speak to the condition of these boathouses as he was on location there. Mike? Mike, are you there? I know he was. He must have, I know he was.
He appears to have left.
Yeah. So on October 14th, Mike went out to the site and took these pictures, and the condition of the boathouses are unsafe and are health and safety concern to the public. There is holes in the floors on some of them. 2 appear to be abandoned. I did speak to one property owner that has a water access, and he is interested in maintaining the boathouses and to keeping them on board. Since they're on the shore road allowance owned by the township, we are essentially liable for these boathouses. And per section 15.9 of the building code, an inspector who finds that a building is unsafe may make an order setting out the reasons why the buildings are unsafe and the remedy steps necessary to render the buildings to be safe. So I think with this, council has some alternatives. And we can request that these boathouses be taken down, or request that they be vacated and we can take them down, or we can go into the lease agreements with the existing leaseholders of the boathouses, and that way, you know, some agreements can be made so that we're not liable for these structures. Does any of the council have any questions or comments in regards to this?
I have several comments. I went and visited the site. There are only 2 of them that are actually decrepit. One with the holes in the floor, and the other one, obviously in the pictures, it's fallen down by itself. I question whether they're actually on the township road allowance or not. I suspect the road allowance is about 50 or 60 feet out in the water, because that water is not at its natural level because it's above the dam. I think the water below the dam is about 6 or 7 feet lower than where it is in this picture that we're looking at right now. And there's stumps in the water. Trees don't grow in the water. So the trees were there before the water was there. So that's number 1. I don't know if it's actually on the road allowance. So I don't actually know that we have jurisdiction on them, because if it's not in the road allowance, it's on Crown land. It has nothing to do with us. I looked at the area with the possibility of creating additional parking in that area, because everybody knows that just over the hill, our parking lot at the municipal boat launch and parking lot is overcrowded, and It's overcrowded mostly because there's so many water access only properties. But you could see in the one picture, there was a pretty huge boat in front of that boathouse. So they can navigate up to there. So I think instead of discouraging use, we should be encouraging use. Because if there was place to park there, currently there is not. If one person parked there, nobody else would have access. But that area where that little yellow square is, just above the orange rectangle, is quite flat. And there's no big trees in that area. One or two white birch that look to be half dead. The rest of it is just shrub, like hazelbrush. And it could be quite easily made into a parking lot. Now, that little wee yellow area isn't sufficient. So it would involve a land use permit or a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Natural Resources in order to develop that area. But it is a possibility that we could alleviate a lot of the parking problem at the main dock by creating that parking lot. There is road access in there. There is a civic address on it. I think it's 1610 is the civic address. 2 or 3 of those boathouses are fine. They're not decrepit. They're unpainted, which makes them look a little rugged. A couple of them aren't boathouses under the description of a boathouse because there's no access on the water side. They can only be accessed from the driveway side. So they're storage sheds. They're not actually boathouses. So there's a lot of different issues to consider, and I'm just putting that out there.
So in speaking to that, when I didn't bring it up, but the 3 squares that you see is actually township owned lands. After some research, we discovered that they were most likely transferred to the township, as they were probably once a LUP and then transferred to the township, maybe during amalgamation. No one really knows, but they are in the name of the township. They're very small, I think 0.02 acres. So we still have those lands as well. And I think that's where, Joe, you're getting to, with maybe creating some parking area with the one property that's already owned by the township, but it would be extended into the Crown, which would be an LUP or an MOU.
Yes, that's correct. And those bottom 2 squares, they're impossible. It's a side of a hill there. It's not a good place to have anything there. But that other spot, the one at the top there, it is almost level.
Tracy, could I, or Chair, could I comment on here?
Go ahead, Richard.
If I heard you correctly, it sounded like we have an agreement or a lease with each party that's using these. And if that's the case, and if I heard you correctly saying that, well, maybe we'd have to clean it up. Well, I think whoever we have the lease with, if the structure is unsafe, the leasee should, or leaser should, be responsible for the cleanup, not the township.
So 2 appear to be abandoned. One thing I would request, if we do enter into agreements with them, that they need to identify which one is there, so we can send notices or requests to clean it up. It will be their responsibility if we continue with this agreement. Right now, it's an LUP. They have it written out as an LUP, and they pay a yearly fee. But those fees were based on the taxes of the 3 properties in behind, and you can clearly tell that those properties really don't have anything to do with where the boathouses are located. So that we have since got those properties exempt from taxes because they're owned by the township. So any agreement that is put into place with these, then that would be, yes, their responsibility to maintain that to the code, to the building code. Brian, I see you are on. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, currently we don't have any formal agreement with any of the property owners. What's kind
That's
of
what I was
spurred,
going to ask.
what's kind of spurred this is recently an individual purchased a property, and the property they purchased, this was considered a chattel. to the property they purchased. They said, oh, by the way, we have a boathouse and you can use it. The gentleman's a lawyer. And as a lawyer, he called and wanted to find out some details about his boathouse. And we were clear to point out that we would need some type of an indemnity agreement if council chose to continue to allow the use. Some of the ones that are there right now, I don't believe we even know who the owners are, or who the original owners were. And they've just kind of been abandoned. So when they're kind of abandoned and they're not being looked after, quite often what the Crown used to do is they'd reestablish the high water mark as it relates to the shore road allowance when they flooded, when they created flooding on the shoreline. So I would beg to expect that most likely the benchmark would have been reestablished for the high water mark, and therefore the 66-foot road allowance would have been reestablished at the location where these boathouses are currently located.
If Councillor Florent had a good suggestion, and we've heard all along that there's a shortage of parking at Ale Lake. And if there was a public parking area there, what it would just increase the use, and if there's a hazard, well, it would just increase the hazard and the liability of the township if there's structures there where people be walking around on township property, if, as you mentioned, if it is within the shoreline allowance. And we certainly don't want to end up getting sued if somebody got injured nosing around on structures that basically weren't safe. And maybe they all should go and develop a new parking area, as indicated, and be safer, and it's out of the wind, and it may be excellent for everyone. But anyway, I don't know what Councillor Rodnick thinks.
I haven't been down in that part of things for a long time. I didn't even realize some of them were still being used.
I thought we got rid of some of them a while ago too, but anyway.
Yeah.
I would suggest, as we're speaking about parking, certainly parking is something that's on the list of items for staff this winter to prepare a report as it relates to access and parking for the lake. So I would suggest that staff give further consideration to that possibility as part of that report. But I think the question staff have currently is, what do we want to do about the status of the existing boathouses? Do we want them removed? Do we want to try and enter into agreements? If we allow this use on a shore road allowance, my only concern is the people don't own the property directly abutting this shoreline road allowance. So where else might people come along wanting to prop up a boathouse on a municipal shore road allowance where they don't even own the property? So it's not that I believe in setting precedents, but certainly we have to be able to justify to others why we're going to allow it here where we may not allow it in other places. So just something to think about.
Well, the agreements, are they with us or are they with the Ministry of Natural Resources?
There's actually no agreement. Those are the three properties in behind that you see in yellow. Those three properties, I believe were originally land use permits. Okay. Those land use permits at some point were transferred into titles, and the municipality has title to those three parcels. Okay. Where the boathouses are, there is no formal agreement of any sort. At one point, staff were taking the land use permit values, or the taxes, actually the taxes from those three parcels, and apportioning it to a couple of the boathouses, because we did know verily who the people were. I'm not sure if they were actually paying the taxes that we were sending them, but we were taxing them for the three parcels back in behind, because they believed originally that those three parcels represented the location of the boathouses. And that's kind of where this whole, what are we going to do here, has come from.
Jeez.
If I can add to that, we should, when considering options, council should consider the official plan and the PPS, and if when making a decision, we need to protect the features and functions of that water course, as Allen Lake is a lake trout near development capacity as well. And so any further development needs to have those considerations as well.
Well, I would argue that those boathouses aren't on Allen Lake, that they're on the Allen River. I don't know if that's technically a difference or not. It's the same water level, but they're actually in the river.
And
If
if I
they
could,
weren't there and your idea was excellent, a good suggestion, and council agreed with it, would it be better, would it be best if they weren't there at all, none of them? And it was a parking area and an access and
that, if I may, it's Jane, that's my question. My understanding that this is a road that goes down to boathouses. There's no boat launch there. And
No.
so, am I mistaken? Is there a boat launch there? I don't
No,
think
there is
so.
not.
So
No,
now we're talking about removing them and making another boat launch. I think it, you know, I think these should be gone. And obviously that looks, you know, that boat was launched at Allen Lake Boat Launch, not there. So it's a boathouse area, not a boat launch.
I want to make the point that if it wasn't tied up there, it would be tied up at the boat launch though.
Well, how do we know that? That person might be using it, not even be one of the owners of the boathouse. We don't know that. The
Well,
opportunity is there. Sorry, go ahead.
in one of the pictures, it shows a vehicle in the background. So it just proves the point that somebody's using it. It may be the one that is involved with the change of ownership of a property, and this was included as a shuttle. That's actually the best of the 5 buildings that's there too. That one right there. There is one.
I
other
believe
one
that car.
that looks-
I
Go
believe
ahead.
that car is Mike Anderson's car when he was out to take the photos.
Could be, but it doesn't look like the car I see Mike in.
He
anyway,
had a
if
rental
they
for a
weren't there-
while, so that's his car.
Okay. Okay, but it's obvious that the place is being used. Like, I don't think Mike staged the boat there for the picture. There's actually a boat in that boathouse right there too.
Yes, they are being used. At least I'm aware of 4 of them being used. There's some that appear to be abandoned, but there is document or notation in the office of the 3. I believe the LUPs that they call. There's 3 owners attached to them. I
But
don't
we
know
just were told we own them.
Yeah, but they lease them, I guess. It's not even
Oh.
they use them for. So we just want to, if we're going to continue the use, we need to establish some kind of agreement. I think that's the main important part right now. And then maybe further down the road, we can look into expanding, but if council wishes.
Does the township want to be a landlord?
well, yeah.
That's it.
I'm pretty sure that we will likely hear from the Allen Lake Cottage Association after they view this meeting. They will likely give us their opinion, which we should at least take into consideration. I don't have any magic answer. I went to look at the place and I just conveyed my observations about the possibility of a second parking lot there, especially when I'm observing the parking lot at the marina area. To me, a lot of it is used as a long-term storage parking lot, and that's not what it's designed for, and that's not the purpose of that parking lot. So, it's that usage that I would like to defer to somewhere else, whether it's here or whether it's at the old waste disposal site or wherever. When I was in here yesterday or day before, whichever day it was, Monday, I think, I went in there to look at that. Also observed there was 14 or 15 boats and or trailers still in the parking lot at the at the dock area. So, you know, it's definitely long-term storage.
But if-
Mayor Dumas, I think I seen your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. I would just go back to our work superintendent last minute news or new news in regards to Ontario Parks are looking at boat launches, and they are talking about abandoning the Yalen Lake boat launch and opening another. So that certainly would, should offload a lot of that problem at the Yalen Lake boat launch and maybe make more space available for the residents on Yalen Lake for that boat launch. So we will have, by the sounds of it, 2 boat launches on Yalen Lake in the future. So that could be a good news story.
You're
Sure.
mistaken, Mayor. It was a parking lot they're going to create, not a boat launch.
Well, then-
And I would suggest that there's very, very little Algonquin Park access users using that marina parking lot. If any.
No, it's not very active. Like, I'd be surprised if I saw half a dozen people take canoes up that would look like they were heading to the park.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood the situation.
Chair, maybe I could explain, Mayor, I used to look after actually the access point right there, Chapman's, and then I just forget the name of the party
Pile.
name. No, anyway, they issued the permits for the people there. They had a contract.
Yeah, they
However,
don't do that anymore.
The people, they like to get them online. So anyway, but the people that purchased the permits, they didn't paddle Aylen Lake. They didn't park there. They just stopped there, bought a permit, and away they went. As a matter of fact, many times there was a good relationship there. They would have the permit in the door for them and pay on their way out or whatever was convenient. But they drove up the north side or the side of the lake and parked at the park boundary.
I know where that.
Then they could walk in the road to the Aylen River or go to Wilkins or wherever they went there. So there was very little usage as far as park permitted vehicles parked at Aylen Lake Dock. Very rare.
Yeah, you're right. Most people just drive up the North Road and park in the snowplow turnaround or drive in as far as they can and turn around.
Yeah, they used to park right where the washout was, where the gate was there years ago. At the park boundary.
Thank you.
I don't think we've given staff any direction at all here, maybe just muddied the waters a little bit more. Is there any suggestions where we go from here?
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump in if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Certainly. So yeah, thank you, staff, for raising this as an issue because I've had residents ask me, can I just install a dock wherever I want on any unopened shore road allowance? And I've also had another resident. This has come up in the past with the decrepit dock at Poverty Lake, and that's technically also on municipal shore road allowance, and that's also not in a very good status, similar to the 2 boathouses over here. So I am concerned about what precedent can be set through this process here. I mean, it seems like the 2 worst boathouses seem to be completely abandoned. So I suppose if those are removed by the township, perhaps that won't be a big issue. It's really what do we do with the 4 that seem to be being used? And so if we enter into some kind of agreement with the quote unquote owners of those boathouses, does that then mean that other residents will then be able to set up their own boathouses wherever they want in the township? Like what sort of future repercussions would we be looking at if we do continue to allow the 4 other boathouses to remain?
If I can answer, well, it may not be the answer, but my answer to that is that these boathouses actually existed before the township of South Algonquin. So as far as being legal, I think they're grandfathered. They're probably non-conforming compliance with our official plan. That doesn't mean that we would authorize other boathouses in other locations. That's just my interpretation. And Councillor Shallow will remember, because he was on the original council, that we did a bus tour, and there was a short explanation from the councillor from Dickens Ward at that time as to the status of those boathouses. And I'm pretty sure that we were told that they all had land use permits with Ministry of Natural Resources at that time. But that would have been prior to 1998, which is 23 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they were transferred over to the township. You're right, Councillor Flora, they're legal non-conforming, and they've been existing for prior to amalgamation, and they were transferred from MNRF to the township after amalgamation or during amalgamation.
I guess Chair, if I may, and I heard the fire chief earlier when talking about a fire destroying a building, and if it's a hazard and they had to put the fire out, they could remove the building. Well, in this case, if the people that have the LUPs or whoever is being billed for the cost of the taxes, and it's my understanding they may not even be paying, I would say there should be a discussion between the council and the fire chief, and there should be some direction, and it should be looked at, and if it means getting a legal opinion, when we do that, and at least the hazardous buildings be removed to take the hazard away from the township.
We could also send the existing users notification that they need to, like, Mike can set up an order if he wishes, that they need to bring them up to standards of the Ontario Building Code to make sure that all the health and safety concerns are addressed.
And that we're getting recovering a fee. If we're not getting a fee, unless it's a no charge permit, if that's what council agreed to it, if it's a no charge permit, well, then that's what council agreed to. And then possibly, as Councillor Bongo said, there should be a policy on it. So anyway, I just think it should be dealt with.
How long is a land use permit valid for?
In fact, they do not have a land use permit of any sort. The municipality somehow along the way, I believe those 3 squares had maybe been land use permits that have been authorized, maybe even to the municipality, and at amalgamation or somewhere around there, we believe that they were transferred into land titles, which gave them municipal status. Staff for many years have treated them similar to a land use permit and simply taken whatever tax bill came on those 3 properties and levied it against owners of the boathouses. But in fact, they have no formal agreement. They have nothing that says thou shall pay this. There's no indemnification. There's nothing there to say, I can't give that to you. There's absolutely no rules in play as it relates to the boathouses specifically. I think these boathouses and shore road allowances and issues in road allowances in general is why it kind of spawned the need for me to bring forward that road allowance bylaw that's in your packages for later today for consideration.
Just want to point out
basically
that if there is significant snowfall this winter, that one location might take care of itself, because I don't know if it will withstand another winter. The other location, it's not a boathouse at all. There's no opening on the water side. It's only a storage unit, and it's probably attached to the boathouse beside it. As far as ownership, I mean attached. It's not physically attached, but it's a storage shed. That's the one with the holes in the floor, with the plywood on the floor.
So these people have no title to this land that these boathouses are sitting on.
That is correct.
Clean it up.
Councillor Rodnick, it's in your ward. Do you have any suggestions? Doesn't appear so.
No, I have no suggestions. I'm just trying to absorb all this right now.
Mhm.
If committee would like, staff certainly could table this report and bring it back to the next meeting to allow council to consider what was the contents of the report, and maybe for Councillor Rodnick to receive some information from the Lake Association. And maybe that'll even bring out who actually owns these, or who should be considered the current owners of these properties.
Yes, I was going to suggest the same thing, and in the meantime, that staff could try to establish ownership of it, but it could come out from the Cottage Association as well. So if there's nothing else to add to that, we'll do exactly as Brian has suggested, and we will table it and open it up for discussion again at another date, and we can move on to the unopened road allowance. I think that's Brian. I think you're the lead on that.
Yes, I am. So we've had a number of issues that have come up in my short tenure at the municipality related to unopened road allowances. Everything from people putting obstructions across them to opening them up to putting boathouses on shore road allowances. And I think that it's very important for us to have some general guidelines at a staff level in the form of a policy on what people can and can't do on the shore road allowances or on the unopened concessions. It's very clear in the Municipal Act that an unopened road allowance is still a public highway. The general public can use them as public property to the extent that they're able to be used. So if there's trees on it and I want to go through a walk down the concession, I can certainly do that. If it's capable of supporting my skidoo or my four-wheeler getting down it, I can do that. But I don't have any right to take trees off of it or alter that concession without the permission of council. And I think that's probably why I wanted to formalize something. This is just a draft. Take it how you wish. Staff are certainly open to making any modifications that council feel might be appropriate to it. But certainly I think that it's one of those policies where it's probably overdue for us to bring something like this forward into the public domain so that people have a better understanding of what rules, what rights they have as it relates to unopened allowances, and what responsibilities they have if they choose to want to use it, and under what conditions they may have permission to use it, or when they should come to council to get permission.
And also what we can do to enforce all of that. Because in at least the one case, it seems to be just the adjoining landowners just thumbing their nose and doing what they want. So there has to be consequences for the actions. Mayor Dumas, you had your hand up?
I was just going to say that's called a bylaw enforcement officer. Anyway, thanks.
And we certainly need to have policy so that we have something to enforce. Right now, we really don't have anything that says we shall do this or we can do this. So I think we're relying, on the ambiguity that might be within the Municipal Act, simply saying that they're public highways. So this here just gives us a little clearer mechanism to manage some of the issues that are out there. And yes, absolutely, it's a bylaw enforcement responsibility. But certainly once we've got it, then we can send Mike out to address the issue with wherever they may pop up, when they pop up.
Thank you. Mayor?
Just further to that, and it's this discussion is stirring a memory in my mind in regards to something that happened in regards to the forest management plan. And at one point, it was suggested that unopened road allowances be taken out of the forest management process. For example, now if there's an area to be cut and there's an unopened road allowance there, they can cut on the road allowance. And there was talk of removing that ability for the forestry companies to be able to log, which would take, if you look at south of Algonquin and look at the amount of land that is dedicated to unopened road allowances, that's an incredible amount of forest. And that just sort of quietly went away. So I think it's important that the township establish jurisdiction in some formal manner in regards to unopened road allowances, just for future possibilities that might be put forward by ministries of government, provincial ministries of government in regard to unopened road allowances. So I think that's, I think this is a good way to go. And I mean, I have read this and I think I need to read it again, but I think this is a good plan, certainly.
Councillor Bongo.
Thanks so much, Chair. I really like this policy. I don't like ambiguity. I think ambiguity is not council's friend. And I like how the rules are spelled out. I think there's a lot of justification in what's being discussed in this proposed policy. And I think it'll really help us alleviate a lot of land use conflicts in the future.
Getting back to Mayor Duma's suggestion about the township road allowances where they're dissecting crown land and they're being forested. I brought that exact question to the Ministry of Natural Resources attention at a conference a couple of years ago in Peterborough. And I have it in my emails yet, their response that they have included it as a discussion topic within their staff. I never heard anything else. Nothing has come of it that I'm aware of. I wasn't suggesting that they not cut it. I was suggesting that the township get paid for the stumpage on the crown land, which we've never got. I don't think any municipality gets it.
No.
I think some cases where the forest is owned by the county, they get reimbursed, but certainly not on crown land.
Mm-hmm.
Chair?
Anybody else have anything to add to that? Yes.
These are really important, especially in the rural part of our township. These road concessions and road allowances, etc., because many times when the roads were laid out here due to terrain, they weren't even able to put the road on the road allowance. So people had to, they made the roads initially, whether it was by logging companies or whoever, and the township continued to follow those. But it's an opportunity for people to access crown land and access property at times. It may not be constructing a road, but it's an opportunity to go from A to B. And I think we should remember that when we're talking about road allowances and concessions, etc.
Councillor Harper, were you trying to say something a minute ago?
Yeah, the idea of assessing a logging company for a product cut on municipal unopened road allowances would be almost impossible. You couldn't do it. At one time, those lines were run, yes. Anybody who's walked through the bush around this country has walked into square 4-inch posts. And they've indicated where the lots and concessions and things were. Those lines have completely disappeared by now. So a company who would have to reimburse the municipality for material cut on a municipal road allowance would actually have to get it surveyed. And that would be way, way too much money. They couldn't do it. So you're actually throwing a large stone in front of everybody's way to try to get this done. There's no way it could do it. And this is why logging companies never worried about unopened road allowances in the bush, because there was no way to prove exactly where it was. And unless you can do that, then we don't have any legal way of collecting stumpage off that property unless it's actually surveyed out.
I think it's kind of like that traffic count, though. You could get the computer to project how much of what percentage of the total cut was done on township road allowances.
Yeah, but you can't go for that because unless you can prove exactly what material came off that property, you can't collect stumpage for it. It's got to be surveyed.
It could be.
And it's got to be scaled.
And if I could add to it, I think that's why that quietly went away. Do we further impose onto our local, we have local companies that cut in South Algonquin. We have local individuals that work and make their living from the forest. And I think that, and this was not just to South Algonquin when it was discussed at the forest management plan table. It's wherever there is Crown land. And certainly the feeling was that the benefit to the communities overall with local employment, et cetera, negated this need to get compensation back from the forest companies for what they cut on the unopened road allowances.
I don't think our argument is with the logging companies doing the actual cutting. Our argument is with the Minister of Natural Resources, who does collect stumpage fees for Crown land and our property.
Yes,
our argument's not with the logging company.
No, and I agree. That's how it was advocated. It was advocated back to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forests at the time. So that it was a no gain for the municipalities. You're absolutely right. Other than employment for people in our community, which is important. So
anybody have anything else they'd like to add? If not, that brings us to the end of our agenda. So I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't address the 2022 capital projects.
And we're bringing this back, right? Council's taking this back away to look at, Councillor Florent, and this will come back to the table again?
The unopened road allowances? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Is Dave still here to discuss the capital projects?
I am.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I think you'd asked for this to be put on the agenda, but at this point in time, we've done the operations budget. That's in the works, and we've been looking. There's going to be some carryover, certainly. Likely the dry hydrants, and we would like to carry on with the road and drainage improvements again on a similar scale as last year. I think that the road needs study has brought forward the McCrae-Hay Lake Road again. Certainly to go to engineering or repair a section of it. We had an engineer look at that deep culvert, and it will need to be replaced. That's going to add some extra complications to that. Was there any ones you wanted to discuss, Joe?
Not specifically. I think the reason that I wanted it on there was so that we could discuss that shoreline at the beach area, and we've already discussed that.
Yeah. We do intend to bring a proposal, for a cap. It's a little different this year because we've separated the budgets. So we do intend to bring a proposed capital projects budget to council. It is in the works, but it's really haven't put a lot of time into it at this point.
I would like to have a better look at that needs analysis for the roads. I don't know of the other councillors, but I would certainly like to get a copy of that, and then an updated copy in the springtime after they do the needs analysis for the gravel roads.
Yes, certainly that can be circulated now.
I'll send a copy of that out by email as soon as the meeting's completed, Councillor Florent.
Thank you.
Judy,
We are, sorry to interrupt, but we are also anticipating to get a draft plan of the Hay Creek Road drawings. I am expecting a little bit of delay dealing with the issues around the LCBO and the post office intersection, because that's going to have to be reviewed from the MTO. It's in their permit area. So as soon as I get that draft, I would like to get it out to council for comment as soon as possible.
That would be great. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to bring up under the capital projects for 2022? No? Okay, now I can ask for an adjournment. Need a mover and a seconder. I can see Councillor or Mayor Dumas has her hand up to move it.
I'll second it.
I don't know who that was. Councillor Rodnick?
Councillor Shala.
Shala, sorry. I only have a picture of about 3 people on the screen and I have to rely on the others to interrupt me to be able to see them.